Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm back here on my home turf, and guess what? We have something supercar special for you, and it's right here next to me. What am I talking about? This is it. This is a 2025, first time ever, McLaren Artura. Not the Artura part, this is an Artura Spider. The introductory year, 2025. But before we get into this twin turbocharged electrified supercar, let's talk about what's going on here. So you heard correctly, that iconic British brand McLaren that's been doing the business for so many decades when it comes to Grand Prix racing, Can-Am racing, and everything in between, they are now bringing electrification. But it's not what you think. This isn't just a pure EV supercar. This has a twin turbocharged power plant paired with an electric motor and a lithium-ion battery pack. Now, before you get upset and say, this is blasphemy, it's not about making this a hug a tree special. This is not that type of hybrid vehicle. It's about getting extra performance. And if you look, there's some stiff competition coming from that Italian brand that everybody knows, Ferrari, with the 296 GTB and GTS, and even our very own here in the good old US of A, Corvette, that C8 E-Ray, that is a hybrid performance vehicle. Now, each one kind of does things a little differently, but what you're gonna find out is McLaren really brought a lot of their heritage when it comes to design, but now up in the ante for, I guess, what you could say, even though I don't think there's ever such a thing, entry-level McLaren. This is your entry-level McLaren, the gateway into the McLaren family, up in the ante on that performance. But what I want to find out is, at the end of the day, is it worth the price going Artura, or should you just go C8 E-Ray? It's an interesting question. Why don't we go ahead? If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's dive in and find out. Right off the bat, one of McLaren's special colors, it's called Papaya Spark. And I don't know if there's any other brand of supercar, or just regular car for that matter, that wears orange so well. And that is, like I said, their heritage color is that orange. It goes all the way back, like I said, the Grand Prix days, the Can-Am days, where those cars had unlimited horsepower that they could run. But let's see what we got going on. So at the front of the business, you're gonna see that unique, very organic style of McLaren. I like the way all the shapes mimic their McLaren badge. You have full LED headlighting, a little bit of gloss black. It would have been nice if this was all carbon fiber, but you got some gloss black on the inside. Working our way down, we do have a functional heat exchanger, and you can actually see, bam, right there in your face is one of those heat exchangers. And like I said, pay attention to that shape, because that goes throughout the whole vehicle. Now, as we come across that low slung nose, like I said, McLarens have a unique look at the front end. You'll see the McLaren badge on the hood here, and there is that unique shape. That is to mimic the Kiwi bird, because remember, Bruce McLaren, the founder of McLaren Cars, the founder of McLaren Racing, is from New Zealand, and the Kiwi bird is the official bird of New Zealand, and that's why that design is not only in the badge, but throughout the whole car. I really like how they shaped the lower nose. I actually like this portion better than the bigger brother, the 750S. You'll notice our functional splitter, all of that extra airflow going to the heat exchangers, even across the front here. And you do have a forward-facing camera. And this also does have front axle lift to make sure you're not gonna scuff any of this beautiful bodywork. But let me know what you think. Should this be carbon fiber on a McLaren supercar, or are you okay with the gloss black? I think the balance of the Papaya Spark with the black components, it really cuts it down just enough to really not make it look too outlandish. Now, as we rise up, you have that smooth, look how smooth the body lines are. Everything has a nice free-forming flow into the A-pillars. We come around the bend, what are we working with? Wheel and tire setup. So you're gonna find these unique forged aluminum wheels. Love that V-spoke design. What's interesting is McLaren does it a little bit differently than everybody else. 19-inch wheel up front, 20-inch wheel out back. Normally, a lot of brands are doing 20-inch wheels up front. You have those Pirelli P0 tires, very sticky tire. And then this one has the optional British pizza size carbon fiber, those carbon ceramic brake rotors, 2-piece brake rotors with the Papaya Spark on your 6-piston Brembo caliper with the McLaren name on there. For 2025, it's not just that the Spider is all new, they actually retuned the suspension on the Artura. They reworked a lot of the body aerodynamics, all the aero around the body. And they also, guess what, one of my favorite parts, increased the horsepower for 2025. But I'm digging the gloss black wheel with the Papaya Spark. You'll see that in our fender here, we do have functional, and I'll have Steven swing around. Those are functional aero pieces. The reason why those are there is to stop front end lift. Just like the splitter stops air from going underneath the vehicle because that creates lift, this relieves pressure inside the fender so everything stays planted. Remember, McLaren won the 1995 24 Hours of Le Mans overall with the mighty McLaren F1 race car, which was a road car turned into a track car. That's where they get all that great history and technology. Now, this has a folding hardtop. It takes approximately 11 seconds to fold, and you could do it of speeds up to 31 miles an hour. You'll notice that we have that electrochromatic glass roof. So what that is right now it's tinted. You push a button inside and it actually turns the glass clear. Really nice to have that instead of a stupid sunshade or something like that. But I am digging, just like the E-Ray, how we have a convertible hardtop. We have a large amount of gloss black on the mirror caps. I wish it wasn't so much gloss black. And then you'll see around the windshield frame, the black painted gloss around the whole frame, going into these beautiful flying buttresses. Look at the way the airflow comes past, and the way that they made this actually clear. Look, there's my hand underneath there. I'm actually digging that rather than doing it all black. I think that would have been way too heavy. Now, the door handles are actually unique on the Artura. Instead of like on the bigger brother, the aero cuts and then you have to reach inside, the door handles are actually right here to raise those butterfly doors. Love the way those doors open up. And then look at how the aero goes into this massive hole. I mean, you could take an NBA basketball. That's how large that opening is for the heat exchangers, for the air intakes, for that twin turbo engine. When we're looking at the back, like I said, very interesting how they do their setup with the tires and wheels. 19-inch up front, 20-inch out back. E-Ray has 20 up front, 21 out back. When it comes to the tire size, up front you had 255 on the width. That's gonna help quicken up your steering. Out back, especially because this is rear-wheel drive, you're looking at 295s. Much wider than up front, but still not as wide as what you get on an E-Ray. And E-Ray are 335s. Kind of crazy. But you're still getting those carbon ceramic brake rotors, all 4 corners. It's interesting because on the McLaren, it's an option. On the E-Ray, they come standard with carbon ceramic brake rotors. But I do love the freaking flow of the body, especially the way it dips into the door here. And then my favorite part is right here. Oh, look at the way you have your functional air intakes up top, heat extractors on the backside. We swing it around, and there it's like a heart. It's like the alien heart of this McLaren. You'll notice all of the venting, the exhaust coming out up top, plus you have that area of black that opens up for the folding hardtop. Do love the lines. I prefer coupes personally, but you can't deny the shape of this Spider. Working our way down, look at how thin they do the tail lights, all LED, all that venting out back, the massive rear diffuser plucked pretty much off a freaking race car. And then not only do you have the exhaust coming out up top, but you also have your twin exhausts out back with the McLaren Artura name. This does not have any functional aero, or I should say active aero, that comes up from the back. Like the 750 had that massive rear wing. This is all in place, how it generates the downforce is the air going over the car, but also the air going underneath the car. And you can see that 8-speed dual clutch transmission at the back of the engine here, and all of that great aero underneath to help suck this thing down to the track like Gorilla Glue. But why don't we go ahead, I'm gonna pop that rear tonneau cover and see if we could find out anything about the V6 underneath it. All right, guys, yes, you heard correctly. Before you have a heart attack, this does not have a V8 like the E-Ray. It has a V6. But let's see what we could see underneath that tonneau cover for the top. So you could notice how I actually stopped the top going down in the process so I could let you focus on this back area. So you could see all that forged carbon fiber. The bummer is the big zonk, you can't see the engine. Why can't they do a plexiglass window? Remember, for the E-Ray, you could option in a plexiglass window to see that LT2 V8. But what do we have? It's a 3-liter V6 twin turbocharged engine, mated to that electric motor and the lithium-ion battery pack. You're looking at 690 horsepower, 531 pound-feet of torque. Now, I said that there's more horsepower for 2025. It's up by 19 horsepower. So we're going from 671 ponies to 690 horsepower. Compare that to the E-Ray. The E-Ray has 655 horsepower. It utilizes an 8-speed dual clutch transmission. And if you want to know what performance it has, get ready for it. 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds, just like the E-Ray. Quarter mile in 10.3 seconds. And this has a top speed of 205 miles per hour. Now, because this is a plug-in hybrid, you do have a little bit more flexibility on driving pure EV. This will do, McLaren says, up to 21 miles pure EV, whereas the E-Ray only does 5, but that was never the intention of the E-Ray to do a large amount of mileage under the electric assist. The car weighs 3,600 pounds, so it actually does weigh lighter than the E-Ray. MPGs, 18 in the city, 22 on the highway. The MPGe combined rating is 45 MPGes. And where that battery pack is, believe it or not, is back behind the cabin here. So think about it. You got the mid-engine, plus the battery pack is back there to really lower that center of gravity. The battery pack in the E-Ray, remember, is actually in the cabin. But why don't we go ahead, let's drop this top down all the way and see this thing launch. All right, guys, we are inside this 2025 McLaren Artura Spider in that beautiful papaya spark color. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, dang, this is one heck of a supercar. I think I'm gonna have to use my kids' inheritance. The hell with them, let them get their own money. I was gonna leave it for them, but now I wanna spoil myself. How much is it? MSRP starting on an Artura Spider. Remember, the coupe is going to be a little less expensive. Artura Spider, $273 MSRP starting. This one, the way that it's optioned, and it's optioned really well, $345,000. Quite a bit of papaya. That paper papaya. But let's see if going McLaren is worth the money. To the door panels. You'll notice those butterfly opening doors, the leather all throughout. We got the Bowers and Wilkins premium sound system. There's carbon fiber around the switchgear. and then some really nice dark aluminum trim. Door pocket, you actually have one, is a good enough size for a British scone. Make sure yours is on the harder side, because if it's too soft, it's not a scone, it's a muffin. Coming on in, you have Alcantara all throughout the dash. Love the leather. There's no actual glove box. I kind of dig that about this car. Great the way they kind of just drop in those AC vents, and then you'll slide on in. New infotainment system. It's still portrait style, but it's grown an inch. Instead of the 7-inch like we showed you on the 750S, this is an 8-inch. There's your AC controls, dual climate. Love the way the two people on the screen have their racing helmets on. It's a very intuitive, but also very, very simple system to use. You could go into your navigation. I like the way that it's kind of cocked towards the driver. And I know that for a lot of people, kind of having it stuck on maybe doesn't look the greatest, but I don't know, it kind of makes it feel more like a IMSA race car screen, the way that they have it set up. Working your way down, you do have that beautiful McLaren badge, built in England, wireless charging. There's that bright orange start-stop button surrounded by carbon fiber leather. You got your little toggles for your 8-speed dual clutch transmission. A tiny cup holder for a cup of British tea. Alcantara on the armrest with the McLaren badge. Open it up, check it out. We got USB-C, USB-A, and you can fit 5 Twinkies in there. 5 British Twinkies. And if you're wondering, well, what the hell's a British Twinkie? The Twinkie cream has a Earl Grey tea flavor to it. Because you know, tea and people from England go together like peanut butter and jelly. Seats, love the one-piece back, the piping, the Alcantara. Look at this, all one piece. Really give you that snug as a bug in a race car rug, grippy performance. But once you're in like Flynn, and it's actually quite comfortable. Plus, up top you have the Alcantara and that button to make the glass go clear. So you can have it tinted, or that electrochromatic glass can go clear if you want to see what's above you. But where you should be looking is where you're going, what's in front of you. Always look where you want to go. Don't worry about the competition behind you. They don't freaking matter. What does matter though is this beautiful wheel in this Artura. Come on over, I want to show you. All right guys, here we are, business time behind the wheel. Remember, I'm 6 feet tall, and with the hard top up, there's plenty of room in here. It's crazy how they were able to sculpt this, because like I said, it's smaller than a 750S, and it's definitely smaller than a Corvette C8 E-Ray. Pedal box, talk about freaking race car. Love that dark aluminum brake pedal. Throttle, I just got to zonk the dead pedal. Where's my aluminum dead pedal? Carpet is not going to work in here. The seats, even though they're one piece, they fit me perfect. Like they were molded for my body. You do have, of course, I wish there were those orange seat belts. So I am going to zonk that. Black seat belts just don't work in here. The Papaya Spark orange seat belts would have gave us an extra 5 horsepower. Steering wheel, this is a thing of beauty. I could hang this on my wall as a piece of artwork. No buttons, no Bluetooth, no radio controls, none of that garbage. Just places for you to put your hand. Nice stitching on the leather horn button, flat bottom, and then you'll notice the surfboard style paddles to go up and down that 8-speed dual clutch transmission. And then you have that beautiful digital gauge cluster. When you go into the different modes, it changes, which is nice. So here we are in comfort. Remember, we have full electric, so you can drive full EV, but my favorite one, you know what mode is my favorite? That's gonna be track mode. Look at that, with the tack across the top there, looking really good. Plus you have your modes for your suspension as well. So they got you covered real easy. Now there is a frunk, and you can put stuff in it, but I don't give a damn about a frunk. What I care about is this. If you're ready, I'm ready, she's ready. Let's go on throttle in this Artura. All right guys, we are inside this Papaya Spark 2025 McLaren Artura, their first ever performance hybrid supercar. I have it in track mode for engine management, track mode for suspension and chassis, and we're gonna go through that dual clutch transmission using the paddles and really feeling the way that the car is balanced. Right away, just sitting in the seat, I've never been in a modern car that really feels like a cocoon. I feel like I'm in a race car cocoon. Love the way the dash moves with the steering wheel. Launch control is simple. Left foot on the brake, right foot on throttle. Here, you ready? On throttle, here we go, yeah! Wow! On the brakes, look at this. On throttle! All the way up to 8,500 RPM. The balance, the way the car communicates to you. Wow, wow, wow. Wow, 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 look at this. Oh my God. All right, let's talk about what we got going on here. So, you could definitely feel the work that they've done to the chassis. The suspension is so well tuned, compression and rebound. The inputs into the wheel, I keep saying this again and again on these McLarens, I feel like my hands are just grabbing those front wheels and turning them myself. Seating position is great, visibility is awesome. It is a V6 twin turbo supercar with the hybrid technology, but you are getting that V6 twin turbo sound. They did improve it. I feel like it needs a little bit more. But if you compare this to, say, the Maserati MC20 that has a twin turbo V6, this thing sounds way better. The amazing thing is just with that electric assist, the motor, that sandwich between the 8-speed and, of course, the twin turbo V6 just gives you that instant torque. There's no boost lag whatsoever. And where the battery is mounted is nice. It helps with lowering the center of gravity. Let's go on throttle again. Tight right-hander. You ready? Second gear. On throttle. Here we go. Golly. Love the shift lights. Look at this. Just so smooth in how it actually gets the power to the ground, especially with being rear-wheel drive. Remember, this is not all-wheel drive like the Corvette E-Ray is. Corvette E-Ray is all-wheel drive. So very fascinating with how good it is at getting the power to the ground. I mean, to have a 0 to 60 2.5 seconds is nothing to laugh about. And boy, it's insane. Over 200 miles per hour. I think the smartest thing that McLaren has done with their setup on the interior, just to make life easier for the driver, is how easy it is to go through the modes, put it into manual shift mode. The dash tells me what my percentage of charge is. And what's great is that there's like the idea of regen braking. Now, I love the way the engine is regenerating the power with that battery pack for that electric motor assisted. But like I said, launch control is so easy. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the throttle, first gear, holds it, on throttle, here we go, golly! Look at this. It's like a freaking puma, man. It just pounces on every corner. Yeah! Golly! The G-forces. On throttle! You have these Formula One style shift lights that come across the top. But man, it gets to 8,500 RPM very, very fast. Remember, it's got that flat plane crankshaft. It's crazy how petite this car is, especially when comparing it to an E-Ray. It makes an E-Ray look like a monster truck. This thing is just so nice on the size. You don't have all this crazy active aero. Everything is being done underneath the car, around the car. It's unbelievable how they've taken their engineering and technology from Formula One, from sports car endurance racing, and brought it into this car. Guys, I got the top down. The whole point of having a Spider, right? Left the side windows up. I automatically love just how high the windshield frame is. It's really getting the air up and over. But I can't wait to go on throttle with you with the top down. Just kind of brings all the senses to the extreme, especially for a car like this. Almost 700 horsepower. I mean, and the car does weigh less than an E-Ray, 3,600 pounds, so E-Ray does sound better with the V8 though. All right, are you ready? Because I'm definitely ready. We're doing launch control. On throttle! Look at this. Wow. So balanced. Especially this decreasing radius. Look at this. Just gobbles it up like Pac-Man. Wow, 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 wow. It's crazy how it just projects you. Like you're being loaded in a slingshot from corner to corner. And I feel like with where the battery pack is located, it's really helping even more so with that handling prowess. Crazy, absolutely crazy. And then the fact that you can drive this on pure EV if you want, that's not the intended purpose. So don't zonk the whole 11 miles, 21 miles, whatever the legit mileage is, don't zonk that, because that is not the intention of this car. It is a performance hybrid. It's meant to get more performance with the electric assist, not drive EV. Let's see how the top goes. They say you can put it up to 31 miles an hour. We're gonna put the top up, that nice folding hard top. Look at that. Believe it, 11 seconds. Really, really nice. And what I'll do is I'll lower the rear window so we can hear that, that V6 as best as we can. It sounds angry. I mean, it's an angry sounding V6. It's just, it's not a V8. And I wish it had a little bit, I don't know, higher pitch. It's got a deeper growl to it, so that makes it very unique compared to other twin turbocharged V6s out there. But even in track mode with the suspension, it rides really smooth, and that's the other thing, is that it just builds power so smooth, and it makes you look good. This car not only makes you look good when you're driving like a normal person down the street, but also when you're hauling the mail through the twisty bits. Let's do launch control again. One more time for you, definitely one more time for me. First gear, the gearbox is amazing, the paddles are awesome. You ready? On throttle! Golly. Yeah! Love it, look at this. Just so smooth. Nice downshifts. Look at the balance, look at the balance. Just pulls all the way to red line. Fast fast left-right transition. Yeah! Nice! The seats hold you in so well, and I think that's the other thing that I really like about this car, is that they did a good job with making it classy and definitely feeling high-end all at the same time. I like the fact that it's just not raw carbon fiber. I know that may sound crazy, but it just gives it more of a unique taste compared to, say, a 750S. Obviously, a 750S does cost basically double what this car costs. Almost. Depending on how you option it. But I know you're in the comment section saying, well, Joe, I can get an E-Ray for $110,000, $116,000, whatever you could get it for. But there's just something special, extra special, when you go with something like this McLaren Artura, especially in the Papaya Spark. Nobody wears orange better than a McLaren. But the way that the car is just surrounded with Alcantara, the leather, the piping, you got the extra speaker from the Bowers and Wilkins system, because it is the Spider, the convertible version. And then you're getting the latest in technology. But just amazing how this car is so versatile. I think that's the thing on how these cars are just so versatile, these supercars. Once upon a time, you know, you were in a Lamborghini Countach or even a Diablo, they weren't as user-friendly. Put it that way. This car is very user-friendly. You gotta respect it, but it is very user-friendly, and it feels pretty damn amazing, I have to admit. But like all good things, we gotta wrap this one up. But before we do, one more time on throttle, what do you say? We'll wait for those cars to kind of pull out in front of us a little bit, and then we'll enjoy the last couple twisty bits together. But I tell you, this thing, I definitely would love to have one of these in my garage. You ready? On throttle, here we go! Look at this. Look at this. On the brakes. We gotta wrap this one up before I get myself into trouble. So I'll see you in a McLaren minute. All right, guys. Oh, God. Another mind-melting day. Normally, when it comes to cars, performance cars, we have a mind-blowing day. This was a mind-melting day. Want to thank everybody over at McLaren, especially Laura, for getting us access to the first ever, that drop-top Spider version of the Artura. Let me know what you think. Has McLaren brought enough of that supercar goodness to make it worth the price? And would you go Artura over a C8 E-Ray? Dying to know what you have to say in the comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raised Rights family. We gotta get up to Stephen Flood. Sometimes he's early, sometimes he's late, but you know what? He's always ready to rock and roll once he does finally show up. So thank you, Stephen, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.